Early one foggy morning, a teenage boy's body was discovered in the middle of a silent cornfield. No witnesses, no weapon, no clues. But when Inspector Rachel Carter arrived, she uncovered a shocking truth that the killer never expected anyone to find. The call came just after sunrise. I had barely taken my first sip of coffee when dispatch said, "Inspector Rachel Carter, we've got a body out near Miller's cornfields." A body in a small town like Ashford, Ohio, was never a good sign. Most days, our police department dealt with stolen bikes, drunk arguments, or the occasional break-in. Murder was rare. I grabbed my coat and headed straight to the scene. The morning air was cold and heavy with fog when I arrived at the fields. Yellow police tape fluttered between wooden posts while officers stood around quietly. In the middle of the tall corn stalks, a young boy lay on the ground. He looked no older than 17. His name, according to the ID in his pocket, was Daniel Harper. I crouched beside the body. His face was pale, his shirt stained with dried blood near the chest. No weapon nearby, no clear signs of a struggle. Just silence. "Who found him?" I asked. A tall farmer stepped forward nervously. "I did, ma'am. I was checking my crops early this morning. Nearly had a heart attack when I saw him lying there." "Did you touch anything?" "No. I called the police right away." "Good." I stood up and looked around. Cornfields stretched for miles. Anyone could have driven here in the night and dumped the body. "Time of death?" I asked the coroner. "Late last night, probably between 10 and midnight." Daniel Harper, a high school student, a boy with his whole life ahead of him, and someone had taken it away. The first clues. Back at the station, I began digging into Daniel's life. He lived with his mother, Linda Harper, in a small house near the edge of town. His father had died years ago. I decided to speak with her. When I knocked on the door, a tired woman with red eyes answered. She already knew. "Mrs. Harper," I said gently, "I'm Inspector Rachel Carter. I'm very sorry for your loss." She stepped aside slowly and let me in. Daniel's photos covered the walls, school pictures, baseball games, birthdays. He looked like a normal kid. "So, did Daniel have any enemies?" I asked carefully. She shook her head. "No, he was a good boy, quiet. He worked part-time at the gas station after school." "Did he go out last night?" "Yes," she said. "He said he was meeting a friend." "What friend?" She hesitated. Tommy Briggs." The name meant something to me. Tommy Briggs was known around town as trouble. Small crimes, fights, nothing big enough to put him away, but enough to make him suspicious. The suspicious friend. I found Tommy Briggs sitting outside a diner later that afternoon. He looked nervous the moment he saw my badge. "Relax," I said, sitting across from him. "I just want to ask a few questions." He rubbed his hands together. "I didn't do anything." "I didn't say you did." He rubbed his hands together. "What do you want to know?" "Did Daniel Harper meet you last night?" "Yeah, for a little while." "Where?" "Near the old bridge." "Why?" He looked away. "Tommy," I said firmly, "a boy is dead. If you know something, now is the time." He swallowed. "Daniel owed someone money." "Who?" "I don't know his real name. People just call him Rick." "Rick what?" "No idea. He's not from town." My instincts sharpened. Outsiders in small towns always stood out. "Did Daniel meet Rick last night?" Tommy nodded slowly. "Yes." The hidden connection. I checked security cameras near the gas station where Daniel worked. At 9:43 p.m., Daniel walked out of the store. A black pickup truck pulled into the parking lot. The driver stepped out. Tall, dark jacket, baseball cap. The camera didn't catch his face clearly, but that was enough. He wasn't local. I ran the truck through traffic cameras and eventually got a partial plate number. That led me to a name, Rick Donovan, a man with a history of gambling and small-time loan schemes. He lent money to people who couldn't pay it back, and when they failed, things got ugly. The confrontation. Rick Donovan was staying at a cheap motel outside town. When I knocked on the door, he opened it halfway. Yes? Rick Donovan? Who's asking? I showed my badge. His expression tightened. I'd like to ask you about Daniel Harper. I don't know any Daniel Harper. That's strange, I said calmly, because your truck was seen at the gas station where he worked last night. He said nothing. Mind if I come in? He hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. Inside the room, I noticed muddy boots near the door. Corn mud. Were you in Miller's Fields last night? No. I walked closer. Rick, Daniel Harper is dead. He was stabbed and left in those fields. His eyes flickered. A tiny reaction, but enough. You lent him money, I continued. He couldn't pay you back. That doesn't mean I killed him. No, I said quietly, but meeting him in a field at night with a knife in your pocket might. He suddenly stood up. You don't have proof. Not yet. I nodded towards the boots, but the lab will enjoy that mud. He stared at them, then at me, and finally, his shoulders dropped. Fine, he muttered. The truth. Rick Donovan confessed an hour later. Daniel had borrowed money months earlier, $500. Interest kept growing. Soon the debt doubled. Daniel tried to pay some back, but it wasn't enough. Rick demanded the rest, so they agreed to meet near the cornfields. I just wanted to scare him, Rick said during questioning, but the kids started yelling, saying he'd go to the police. And then? I asked. Rick looked down. I lost my temper. One stab. That was all it took. Daniel collapsed, and Rick panicked. He dragged the body into the field and drove away. Justice. A week later, Rick Donovan was formally charged with murder. The evidence was strong. The mud on his boots matched the field. His truck had Daniel's blood inside, and his confession sealed it. During the trial, Daniel's mother sat quietly in the courtroom. She didn't cry, she just watched. When the judge finally announced the verdict, guilty, she closed her eyes in relief. Rick Donovan received a life sentence. Justice had been served. The quiet after. A few days later, I returned to Miller's Fields. The police tape was gone. The corn moved softly in the wind like nothing had ever happened, but I knew better. Small towns hide secrets well, and sometimes the quietest places hold the darkest crimes. I looked out across the endless rows of corn and thought about Daniel Harper, a boy who should have had decades ahead of him. But at least now, his killer would never walk free again. And in this job, sometimes that's the closest thing to peace you'll ever get. Thanks for watching.